SpectrumTv, broadening your horizon.
Season's greetings from SpectrumTv.
Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 9. My name is Xavier Robert, coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Buhari writes Senate seeks passage of finance bill. Lagos coroner to meet human rights lawyer Falana over Darwin student murder. World Court orders Azerbaijan to prevent racial hatred against Armenians. Details of these stories and more in a moment. First, in our news tonight, President Muhammad Buhari has written the Senate seeking the consideration and subsequent passage of the 2021 finance bill that will guide the implementation of the 2022 appropriation. In a letter addressed to the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, and read during plenary, President Buhari said the bill, when passed, will support the 2022 budget of economic growth and sustainability that is currently awaiting passage at the National Assembly. According to the President, the bill will also help to carry out radical reforms in the finances of the government. While the cover letter was titled Transmission of the Finance Bill 2020 to the National Assembly for consideration and passage into law in support of the 2021 budget, the bill proposes amendments to existing tax laws and financial regulations in response to the negative impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the economy and the current recession. Meanwhile, Vice President Jimmy Osibanjo says the federal government has prioritized the transport sector as the economic backbone to making the country a transport hub in the sub-region that will drive growth in the country. Speaking at the opening of a 3-day National Transport Summit hosted by the Chartered Institute of Transport Administration in Nigeria, CIATA, Osibanjo said government would also adopt the communique from the summit as working tool in resolving the factors inhibiting transportation system in the country. Osibanjo, who was represented by the Minister of Transport Rotimi Amechi at the conference, said the government was looking up to the Institute for guidance in policy formulation and direction. He described transportation as the wheel that drives the economy of any country and noted that the sector could not serve its purpose unless it was available in a safe, affordable, and secure environment. The Vice President added that the Nigerian government's thoughts and actions could be seen in the transport infrastructure developments in the rail, road, maritime, and air subsectors. Away from that, President Muhammad Buhari has sent warm felicitations to President Adama Barrow of the Gambia over his re-election for a second term of 5 years. This is contained in a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina. President Buhari congratulated the Gambian Independent Electoral Commission for dutifully handling the electoral process, while lauding Gambians for exhibiting civility, maturity, and patriotism. He assured President Barrow and all Gambians of Nigeria's commitment and partnership as they work together on making the country better and stronger for posterity. In another development, members of the Nigeria Governors Forum are condemning the travel ban imposed on the country by authorities in Canada and the United Kingdom over the report of confirmed cases of Omicron COVID-19 variant. In a statement by the forum's chairman and Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi, the governors described the action of both countries as discriminatory and called for the intervention of the World Health Organization. According to the governors, Omicron remains relatively unknown globally, as it is still unclear whether it is more transmissible from person to person compared to other variants, including Delta. They said it was discouraging to note that several countries had reported cases of Omicron with tallies similar to or higher than Nigeria's, yet travelers there had not been banned from entering the UK and Canada. To the upper chamber now, where the Senate has lent its voice to expressions against the inclusion of Nigeria in the United Kingdom's COVID-19 red list. In a motion at plenary, Senator Ike Ekweremadu said the decision by the British government to include Nigeria in the list with its concomitant implications will affect many Nigerians who had planned to spend their Christmas and New Year holiday with their families. Senator Ekweremadu also noted that targeting African countries, especially in the COVID-19 travel ban, amounts to profiling and discrimination, as well as an attack on Nigeria's cordial diplomatic relationship with the UK. The Senate consequently asked the federal government to constructively engage the British authorities with a view to reversing the ban. Also, the House of Representatives, through a motion of urgent public importance by the Minority Leader Ndudie Lumelu, asked the Foreign Affairs Ministry to interface with the UK government to reverse the decision of the ban. Still on legislative matters, the Senate President Ahmad Lawan has called on the federal government through its relevant agencies to penalize indigenous oil companies responsible for the devastation of host communities where they operate. Lawan made the call following a motion on the urgent need to stop the continuous crude oil and gas blowout spill at Santa Barbara Well in Opu Nembe, Bayelsa State. A statement signed by the Special Assistant to the Senate President, Ezreal Tabiowo, said the motion was sponsored by Senator Biobarakuma Degi Eremienyo. In the lower chamber, members of the House of Representatives have called on the Inspector General of Police to take over investigations into the death of Darwin College student Sylvester Oromoni and place the suspects on the no-fly list. The lawmakers during plenary said the IGP needed to immediately launch and head the investigation, prosecution, and punishment of the perpetrators of the crime. The House, in a motion of urgent public importance by Representative Onyeme Idem, condemned the recent incidences of inhumane treatment and abuses reported in boarding schools across the country. The lawmakers said the 5 students alleged to be involved in the crime should be placed on the no-fly list to prevent them from leaving the country, and called for the proper regulation of boarding schools in the country. Meanwhile, a preliminary meeting between Lagos State Coroner Justice Mojisola Dada and activist lawyer Femi Falana has been scheduled for tomorrow. Dada will be meeting Falana on an inquest on the death of 12-year-old Sylvester Oromoni at the Darwin College in Lekki, Lagos. The meeting was scheduled following Falana's request for an inquest to unravel circumstances surrounding Oromoni's death. The meeting will hold in Ekpe. Still on the Darwin College murder, the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Hakeem Odumosu, says 3 students of the college in the Lekki area of the state are currently in police custody for allegedly assaulting 12-year-old Sylvester Oromoni. Odumosu also said 2 other students of the school fingered in the assault were now at large, while those in police custody were helping the command with information on how to track them. The Lagos police boss said the principal Housemasters and other officials of the Lekki-based school were also assisting the police with information as the command launched a full-scale probe into the circumstances culminating in the death of Oromoni on November 30. The father of the deceased boarding student had alleged that the junior secondary school pupil student died from injuries sustained during an assault by 5 of his colleagues who wanted to initiate him into cultism, but the school claimed he died after sustaining an injury during a football match. Still in Lagos, a trailer has reportedly rammed into some pupils of the Babas Funwa Millennium Senior and Junior Secondary School in the Ojodu Berger area of the state, killing some and injuring others. The students were said to be returning home from school. Residents and passers-by protested the incident, while some other trailers were destroyed. Reports said vehicular movements were affected, with many people running for safety. In the meantime, operatives of the Lagos State Police Command have arrested the driver of the hit-and-run truck. The police public relations officer in the state, Adekunle Ajisebutu, confirmed the arrest of the driver, adding that investigation had commenced into the incident. In Anambra, the Igwe Orano Chidume of Omo Kingdom in Ayamelum local government area has commended Governor Willie Obiano as Anambra International Cargo and Passenger Airport commenced flight operations today. Addressing newsmen, the traditional ruler, who described Obiano as a serial achiever for the notable landmark projects in the state, said the airport would impact positively on the economic development of the state and the southeast region as a whole. Igwe Chidume, who also described the governor-elect Soludo as a prudent, intelligent, resourceful, and international figure who would take the Anambra economy to El Dorado, advised the governor-elect to run a government that would transform the economic viability of the state to abundance of wealth. Recall that Air Peace scheduled flights into Anambra following approval of the Anambra International Cargo and Passenger Airport by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. In a separate development, a member representing Panshin North in the Plateau State House of Assembly, Philip Dasson, has resigned as the Deputy Majority Leader. He announced his resignation during plenary today. Before his resignation, Dasson was the chairman of the House Committee on Information. He said his resignation had nothing to do with the alleged illegal impeachment of the Speaker, Ayuba Abok. Elsewhere, the Secretary to Government of Ekiti State, Beldun Oyebanji, has resigned from office. The political scientist and former university teacher has been endorsed by many stakeholders for governor on the platform of the All Progressives Congress APC. Governor Kayode Fayemi has accepted Oyebanji's resignation, wishing him success in his future endeavors. In education, National Universities Commission has discovered 67 illegal universities, satellite campuses, and study centers in the country. Executive Secretary of the Commission, Abubakar Rashid, stated this while speaking at a public event in Ilorin. He assured Nigerians that the Commission was tackling the situation headlong to discourage the illegality and ensure that the reputation of tertiary education in the country was not damaged. Away from that, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, is advocating stiffer penalties for drug trafficking by removing the option of fines for offenders. The agency's chairman, retired Brigadier General Buba Marwa, who stated this during the Institute of Change Management's annual dinner in Lagos, further observed that the drug problem in Nigeria was massive, calling for aggressive reduction in drug supply. According to Marwa, the National Drug Use Survey 2018 indicated that 14.3 million Nigerians, representing 14.4% of the country's population, use psychoactive substances aside from alcohol. Marawa, who was represented by the Director Seaport Operation Omolade Faboyede, underscored the need for all hands to be on deck to end the issue of drug abuse in the country. In another development, lead counsel for the embattled indigenous people of Biafra, leader Ifeanyi Ejiofor, is accusing the Department of State Services of disobeying court orders granting Nnamdi Kanu maximum comfort in detention, change of clothing, among others. The lawyer, in a statement, alleged that the DSS had continued to treat the orders of the court with greatest disdain. Recall that Justice Binta Nyako of Federal High Court in Abuja ordered on December 2 that the successionist leader should not be discriminated against in the custody of the secret police. In security, the Nigeria Air Force fighter jets of Operation Hadarin Daji have reportedly bombed key enclaves of kidnappers and bandits in Rijana, Kaduna State. A military source confirmed to newsmen that the airstrikes also destroyed an armory and a building occupied by a notorious kidnapping kingpin, Ali Khwaja, who is responsible for most of the kidnappings on the Abuja-Kaduna axis. Reports say scores of the bandits who were thrown into disarray by the airstrikes met their Waterloo during the operation. Still to come in the news. CBN affirms financial sector health as loan-to-deposit ratio hits 7 trillion naira. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom has approved the immediate commencement of emergency intervention works at devastating gully erosion site at Akonitam, Itu local government area. A release signed by the State Commissioner for Environment, Charles Udo, describes the approval as another demonstration of the governor's unalloyed commitment to the protection of lives and property of residents and citizens of Akwa Ibom State. He identified the specific locations as Calabar to Federal Highway by Raken Construction Company Limited and Calabar to Federal Highway by Union Bank. Udo advised members of the public to exercise extra caution within the vicinity of the erosion site while the restoration works are ongoing. Reports say Calabar to Road, a federal highway, has over the years suffered severe neglect from authorities concerned, and this is the third time that the current administration in Akwa Ibom State has intervened. Still in the state, air passengers have applauded the Akwa Ibom State-owned airline Ibom Air for impeccable service delivery. The passengers also encouraged the franchise not to rest on its oars in ensuring that the airline continued to break ground and expand its reach. Speaking with Spectrum Television, the respondents on the occasion of the Aviation Day celebrations expressed delight over the achievements the Akwa Ibom State government has recorded in the aviation industry in recent times.
My name is Ambassador Edith Esiets from Akwa Ibom State, the only state now in terms of aviation that everybody is looking up onto. So first and foremost, I want to thank God for making this day internationally recognized as an aviation day. And I want to thank our amiable governor for ensuring that this state is not left out. And now everybody is talking about Ibom Air. And Ibom Air is #1 now in the country. And very soon, I know very well, because the journey of a million mile is made by one day. And since I started locally.
Good morning, my name is Afa Muwaba. I live in Lagos from Anambra. I just flew into Akwa Ibom today. This is my first time actually in Uyo. It's Aviation Week, and I believe that Ibom Air, to be honest, is one of the best airlines currently in Nigeria. The flight was smooth, it was okay. Actually, this is the second time I'm using Ibom Air, and it was wonderful, to be honest. And I would say that I would always use Ibom Air again, especially to Abuja, to Lagos, or to wherever. I actually flew in on time, and the flight was meant to land at 11, and it came here at 10:55 a.m. So I'm so excited, and I'm happy for Ibom Air. They're doing well. So the Nigerian aviation sector is doing very good. It's doing very well.
My name is Henrietta. We thank God for the aircraft that we have. It's good we have an airport here in Akwa Ibom, which has actually helped us to be able to ease our traveling moves. So I want to say thank you for the aircraft that we have, but we need much more. We need more to be able to bring us to and fro, to be able to take us to wherever we want to and can come back on that day at a particular time. Well, I pray that God should help us, that we need God's guidance, we need God's direction to be able to fix things.
Still on the state aviation sector, the management of Victoria International Airport have called for increased airline-airport partnership to boost the economy of the industry in the overall best interest of all involved. Speaking with Spectrum Television on the sidelines of the 2021 International Civil Aviation Day, the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of Ibom Airport Development Company Limited, Uwem Ekanem, noted that while Ibom Air was domiciled at the airport and is offering the top-notch service delivery to its customers, there is room for other airlines to operate in the state. He said the management had always been receptive to airline operators, who lauded the initiative of Governor Udom in building the enabling environment for sustainability of businesses. The massive investment in Ibom Air, despite the post-COVID economic challenges, said the airport had boosted the economy of the people and the state. Commenting on the theme for this year's International Civil Aviation Day, which is Advancing Innovation for Global Aviation Development, UM said the vision for the airport and Ibom Air was to sustainably provide state-of-the-art services in line with best global practices in the industry.
My name is UM Ekanem. I'm the Managing Director, CEO of Ibom Airport Development Company Limited, operator of the Victor International Airport. I also double as the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Aviation Development. Ibom has done fantastic when it comes to aviation development. The aviation is one of the cardinal focus of His Excellency, the State Governor, Mr. Emmanuel. And already, for those who are, the naysayers will say we haven't done much, but we have an airport today, an airport that is over 10 years old. And then recently we established Ibom Air. And so the airport, the Victor International Airport, has become the hub for Ibom Air. And in today's world, we talk about airline-airport partnership. And I tell you, that partnership is going on strong, going on very well. I would encourage people to just key into the vision. What he's putting in place is putting that foundation for the future. And all we need to do, because he's a businessman, remember, the governor is coming from the private sector. So the way he would see things is different from the core politician would see things. He's about development.
Away from that, as part of activities to give persons living with disabilities in Akwa Ibom the opportunity to air their concerns, the teachers, parents, and pupils of the Daughters of Charity School of Inclusive Education in Uyo have called on the government and individuals across the state to pay attention to the needs of persons with disabilities and to encourage inclusive education for the benefit of all. Speaking with Spectrum Television, the administrator of the school lauded the government and the State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, for the continuous support and monitoring. She said more was needed to be done in providing conducive learning environment for children with special needs and increased welfare for teachers. She also lamented the flooding situation that occurs in the school during rainy season. Also speaking, one of the teachers noted that more special teachers were needed to ease the teaching process and communication with pupils with special needs.
I am Sister Victoria Josh, a daughter of charity of St. Vincent de Paul, Servant of the Poor. We have an inclusive school, St. Vincent Center for Inclusive Education, where children with and without disability stay together in the same classroom with special teachers and also teachers too, who are not special, working together. And it helps the society, it helps these children to be inclusive, even at home. And we also encourage families that have children with special needs to also bring another child without disability so that they can learn together. Sign language will be easier in that way at home. In the school, we encourage teachers to learn sign language. I mean those that are not special teachers, and also parents of these children to learn sign language. Today, they are very happy.
I am Sister Scholastica Achinkumbu, a daughter of charity. I work in St. Vincent Center for Inclusive Education as an administrator of the school. Actually, this idea came, we wanted to let children with special needs also be recognized in the society. And so we wanted the children who don't have special needs to accept them, to start accepting them at that tender age. When you come in here, sometimes it's when you are told. If not, you will not know. You see that they mix up very well. Unlike if they were not introduced, they were not introduced at that initial stage, it will be very difficult for them. Maybe when they find them out there in the society, it will be hard for them to mingle with them or even interact with them. But as they are here, they are friendly, they associate with them, they don't even know the difference. And even those who don't have a hearing impairment, they are also learning the sign language. They learn the sign language and they are doing perfectly well in it as well.
In Africa, at least 38 people have died and scores more have been injured in a fire which tore through a prison in Burundi. Vice President Prosper Bazambanza told reporters that the blaze had hit an overcrowded facility in the capital Gitega, with at least 69 people seriously injured. Reports say nurses from Gitega Hospital had entered the prison to help the victims, saying they are taking out the dead and wounded. On the foreign scene, Western powers are calling on Russia to lower tensions with Ukraine ahead of a video call between United States President Joe Biden and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin. Responding to fears of a Russian invasion, Biden agreed with leaders of the UK, France, Germany, and Italy to use all the tools at their disposal. Russian authorities have, however, denied plans to attack, but the country has moved thousands of troops near Ukraine's eastern borders, and Ukraine says tanks have been moved to the front line inside its territory. Elsewhere, Myanmar's military-appointed Foreign Minister Wuna Manglin has held talks in Cambodia. This comes one day after the junta drew global condemnation for sentencing deposed leader Aung San Suu Kyi to jail for incitement and breaching COVID-19 rules. Government handout pictures showed Nguyen meeting Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen at the Peace Palace in Phnom Penh, where they exchanged pleasantries. Cambodia will head the 10-member Association of Southeast Asian Nations next year. The bloc has reportedly seen divisions over member Myanmar since Suu Kyi's government was overthrown in a February 1 coup, and she and others were detained. In another development, Spain has approved COVID-19 vaccinations for children aged 5 to 11, an age group where coronavirus cases are said to be spreading rapidly, with the immunization drive to start next week. The decision comes after the European Union's drug regulator last month cleared Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for use among 5 to 11-year-olds, in the first such jab to be approved within the bloc for that age group. The health ministry said the goal was to reduce the incidence of the disease in the group and infections in family settings, schools, and the community. Away from that, 1 week after a school shooting in Michigan that killed 4 students and led to the manhunt and arrest of the suspect's parents, officials are wondering how the tragedy could have been prevented. Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald said the bloodshed could have been avoided had the suspect's parents been more forthcoming about his access to firearms. 15-year-old Ethan Crumbley is accused of fatally shooting 4 classmates and wounding several others on November 30. His parents were charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in the same incident, to which all 3 have pleaded not guilty. And now it's time for the latest business and stock market stories. Here is Blyden Ukem.
Thank you, Sevi Robert. It is another business day. Welcome to Business News. In the few days, the price of cryptocurrency corrected downward below $3,000. The general market is recovering rapidly. The positive dynamics are found by Chicago merchandise exchanges, CMEs, who launches and made a great launch of Ethereum trading in micro futures, whose contract makes up 1/10 of a token. The early transition to the Ethereum 2.0 network has influenced the price. According to the founder, Vitalik Buterin, it was necessary to increase the scalability and decentralization of the network by providing the ability to
However, investors continue to hold back the assets before the upcoming large-scale updates, which contributes to the growth of its quotes. Let's look at the gold price. Gold price has shown signs of an upward reversal towards the psychological price level of $1,800 an ounce. The pressure on the metal is exerted by investors' expectations following the meeting of the U.S. Federal Reserve held in the middle of the month. The outcome of the meeting emphasized that if the regulator decides to continue reducing the volume of the quantitative easing QE program, this could be a negative factor for gold. Yesterday, one of gold's largest importers, China, published its statistics for November. Imports increased by 31.7%, exceeding analyst forecasts of 19.8% growth. China's import mainly consists of commodities. Therefore, gold purchases have increased significantly and affecting the price. It is heard that Uber prices may rise to 20%. This is due to a high court ruling in the United Kingdom. Uber and online private hire taxi operators may soon charge UK customers VAT at 20%. The ruling stated that Uber must make contracts with the UK customers, emphasizing that Uber drivers are to be treated as workers and not as contractors. According to Lord Justice Lagarde, the ruling implied that private hire operators, we're talking about the drivers now, ought to enter into a contract with their customers when they accept a booking, rather than the passenger only having a contract with the driver of the vehicle. Uber is a VAT-registered business, and ride-hailing firm may start adding the tax on fares. Uber went to the High Court seeking a redress, but the High Court has now upheld this ruling. Let's see what's happening with the Trump social media firm, Truth Social. The deal to float Donald Trump's social media firm, Truth Social, on the stock market is being investigated by the Wall Street Watchers. Regulators are probing Digital World Acquisition Corp, the firm identified to merge with Donald Trump's media and technology group for the stock listing. According to a filing on Monday, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) requested documents about its investors and trading details. Report has it that the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority are probing the deal as well. Back home in Nigeria, the loan-to-deposit ratio hits 7 trillion naira. According to Mrs. Aisha Ahmed, the chairman, FITC board, the loan-to-deposit ratio has hit about 7 trillion naira on bank savings. According to her, the loan-to-deposit ratio, which the Apex Bank restricted since 2019 till now, has recorded unprecedented growth, leading to stability of the financial sector. Also speaking at the FITC's 40th anniversary summit in 2021, the managing director and chief executive officer, Citibank of Nigeria, Mrs. Ireti Samuel Agbu, stated the need to build capacity to benefit from the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Let's look at the stock market report. It's the Nigerian stock market report. At the end of today's trading session, the bulls dominated just slightly. The all-share index closed at 42,018.92 points. When compared with previous trading day, today's data shows 51% improvement in volume, 48% improvement in turnover, as well as 10% decline in deals. 105 equities participated in trading, ending with 20 gainers and 19 losers. Not a big margin at all. Abe Mortgage Bank led the gainers list with 9.47% share price appreciation, closing at 1.04 naira per share. On the losing side, GlaxoSmithKline Consumer came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 9.32% at 5.35 naira per share. And First Bank Nigeria Holdings recorded the highest volume of 364 million traded shares. And this is business news as well as the stock market report. I am Blyden Ukem. Back to Xavier Robert.
Thank you, Blyden. Still to come in the news. CAF dismisses AFCON postponement rumor. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. In health, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control has announced 3 additional cases of the Omicron variant confirmed in the country. The NCDC, in the statement signed by the Director General Ifedayo Adetifa, explained that the 3 additional cases were detected in passengers linked to South Africa in November. The new cases bring the total of the recently discovered variant of the COVID-19 virus in Nigeria to 6. It could be recalled that the Omicron variant, which was first reported by South Africa, has been designated a variant of concern by the World Health Organization. On our COVID update, 167 more people have contracted COVID-19 in Nigeria in the last 24 hours, putting the country's new total at 214,789. The fresh infections comprise 113 cases in Lagos, 22 in FCT, 16 in Plateau, 4 in Kano, 3 each in Abia, Kaduna and Rivers, 2 in Bauchi, and 1 in Delta. Till date, 207,478 persons have been discharged, while 2,980 others have died from the virus. World Health Organization says 29 of the 85 countries that were malaria endemic accounted for about 96% of malaria cases and deaths globally, while Nigeria accounted for 27% of deaths. The organization stated this in its 2020 World Malaria Report released. In the data provided, the WHO noted that while Africa had a total of 602,000 deaths out of the estimated 627,000, Nigeria accounted for 31.9% of the malaria deaths on the planet. It said the country was followed closely by the Democratic Republic of Congo with 13.2%. And in sports, Bright James will bring us up to speed with the latest developments.
Thank you, Xavier Roberts. Hello and welcome to the Sports Desk. I am Bright James. We begin with table tennis, where Rooney Quadri says he's excited with his achievements in the outgoing year and already looking forward to a better 2022. Quadri became the first African to reach the WTT tournament in Houston before setting another record in Singapore. The world number 13 defeated China's Liang Jinkun 3-1 to become the first African to qualify for the quarterfinal of the WTT Gold Cup. However, Singapore adventure ended on Monday following a 3-1 loss to Brazilian Hugo Calderano in the quarterfinals of the men's singles. Speaking after the defeat to Hugo Calderano, an excited Rooney Quadri said he's satisfied with his performance and added that his objective is to go further in 2022. Now in football, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has dismissed rumors that the African Cup of Nations (AFCON) billed for Cameroon next month could be moved away following the recent discovery of the new Omicron variant of COVID-19. The new variant has led to travel restrictions being introduced by some countries for several African nations, with Nigeria, which neighbors Cameroon, the latest to be added to the UK's red list. Recent media reports have suggested the date of the 2014 tournament could change, or even the location be moved possibly to Qatar. CAF's Director of Communications, Alex Tiwe, says neither his organization nor leading Cameroon officials have discussed such events. Africa's football Fiesta, which has already been delayed because of the pandemic, is due to kick off on January 9th in Yaoundé, with the final billed for the 6th of February. Sailing football, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) have announced a new date for the postponed CAF Confederations Cup first leg tie between Libya's Al Ittihad and Nigeria's representative Enyimba FC of Aba. The encounter has now been fixed for the weekend of December 17th, 18th, and 19th in Benghazi, Libya. The match was not played on the original date on November 28th after Enyimba were not allowed into Tunisia on account of coronavirus travel restrictions. Enyimba won the second leg in Aba on Sunday 2-0, with Sadiq Abubakar and Victor Mboma scoring both goals. The overall winners of the contest will proceed to the group stage of the competition. Finally, up to 6 Tottenham Hotspur's first-team players and 2 backroom staff members are believed to have tested positive for COVID-19, with Spurs now waiting for the PCR test result to confirm the extent of the problem. The 10-day period of self-isolation for anyone who tests positive means Spurs players hit by the outbreak are set to miss their next 3 games. After facing runs, Antonio Conte's side returned to Premier League action with a trip to Brighton on Sunday before they travel to Leicester City next Thursday and host Liverpool on December 19th. Still on the COVID outbreak, Mateo Kovacic has tested positive for COVID-19 and will miss Chelsea's Champions League visits to Zenit St. Petersburg tomorrow, Wednesday. The Croatian midfielder had returned to Chelsea training on Monday after a hamstring problem, which has kept him out of action since late October, only to return a positive coronavirus test on Tuesday. Speaking at his pre-match news conference ahead of the game in St. Petersburg, head coach Thomas Tuchel described the news as a huge setback for Chelsea. And that's all from the sports desk. I am Bright James. Over to B2 Brian for entertainment news.
Thank you, Bright James. Hello and welcome to the Entertainment Desk. I am Beto O'Brien. First on our entertainment news, Nick Cannon has announced the passing away of his youngest child, Zen. The TV host and actor made the announcement on the Nick Cannon show today, where he was very emotional, narrating the fact that his youngest son, Zen, who he had with model Alisa Scott, passed away due to brain tumor earlier on in California today. His son was 5 months old, having been born on the 23rd of June this year. The actor says it is a pretty emotional time for he and his family and would need a lot of love and comfort from his followers and family at this moment. On to our next story. Drake has withdrawn his Grammy nominations after being nominated for Best Album and Best Rap Performance. According to reports, Drake's relationship with the Recording Academy has come to an end as he made the decision to withdraw Certified Lover Boy and Way Too Sexy from their respective Grammy-nominated categories. Last year, following the Academy's snub of the weekend, Drake wrote about the awards saying, and I quote, "I think we should stop allowing ourselves to be shocked every year by the disconnect between impactful music and these awards and just accept that what was once the highest form of recognition may no longer matter to artists that exist now and the ones to come after. This is a great time for somebody to start something new that we can build up on over time and pass to the generations to come." Unquote. In our next story, Playboy's first ever creative director, Cardi B, begins work. The Grammy-winning rapper, having been named Playboy's first ever creative director in residence, has commenced work today. In her new role, she will provide artistic direction across co-branded fashion and sexual wellness merchandise collections, digital editorial, experimental activations, and more. Additionally, Cardi would serve as the founding creative director and founding member of Playboy's new creator-led platform, Centerfold. This is the latest venture for the 29-year-old mogul. She recently launched Whip Shots, a vodka-infused whipped cream, which sold out in minutes. On the music front, she earned her second diamond single with Girls Like You, a collaboration with Maroon 5, which has moved over 10 million units in the US. She becomes the first female rapper with 2 diamond singles and the third woman ever to achieve the feat. Cardi B says she's excited in getting her new job started, saying she has so many ideas in the work and can't wait. She's also excited about the launching of the new creator-led platform, Centerfold. Back here in Nigeria, a scammer who hacked the late Sound Sultan's IG account has been arrested. A young man simply identified as Victor Majekodumi, who is responsible for having hacked the late singer's Instagram account, has been apprehended and in police custody. Victor was said to have taken control of the late singer's Instagram account, pretending to be his widowed wife in the guise to dupe unsuspecting family and friends. Following his arrest, the Instagram account has, however, been recovered, but before then, he had deleted a huge number of works of the late singer. And that's our package on entertainment news this evening. I am Beto O'Brien. Over to Xavier Roberts.
And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website.